out because there's a gun involved, a possible gun involved. So they're going to take caution getting him out, and he's going to have to get out for his own safety because that vehicle obviously is it's now ignited a fire.
Yeah, unless the impact rendered him unconscious. But you see there the police officers with their guns drawn, and they approach every vehicle with a lot of precaution. What am I talking about? But in this case, in particular, they'll be worried because they know that the bond on this driver is assault with a deadly weapon.
They backed up there. Interesting move
Lord,
there.
I hope he ain't shooting.
A little more protection, perhaps, behind this vehicle. Remember, this is thought to be a driver with a weapon who perhaps showed the weapon towards a big rig driver. So we know the state of mind is that this driver was willing to do anything to get away, driving in between cars, driving the wrong way in a divided road, straight onto other cars. But look at the positioning there, Dennis, of the law enforcement taking cover for themselves.
Do you think part of it is because they're worried what the vehicle will do? It was all of a sudden they kind of all backed up. We still see one or two officers with their guns drawn, but
apparently there's a fire within the engine. Looks like coming out of the hood. But they backed up. Maybe he's still in the car with a weapon, and obviously, if he does have a weapon, he could start shooting at the officers indiscriminately, and obviously they don't want to get shot. So they'll use the ballistic panels they have, whatever the means they have to protect themselves. They're not going to yank him out of the car.
Right.
The car is...
That smoke continued to pour out. This is a very scary situation for law enforcement when you have a person said to have had a weapon who's not exiting the vehicle. You do wonder if the person is conscious, if the airbags went off, if they are not well. But why are they not getting out of that vehicle with all that amount of law enforcement? No way that person can get away.
Airbags can be quite physically damaging. People have been rendered unconscious by an airbag, especially with the impact with the retaining wall there or the divider there. Meantime, they have a police dog out there, so it's possible they'll send the dog in before an officer goes in. Correct, Dennis?
I can see movement. It looks like there's movement in the cab. I can see movement in the cab of the truck. So he's definitely in the truck, and he's definitely moving around. So with that, he's conscious. If the airbag went off, you can still survive. That's what the airbag is there for, so you can survive. I'm surprised he's not out by now.
Well, maybe he doesn't want to come out.
Maybe the vehicle isn't smoking or... Wait, there's a door opening on the back there? On the passenger side?
Coming out.
Yep, here he comes.
Looks like somebody's coming out. Again, we don't know if there's a passenger in the vehicle or if this is indeed the driver, but perhaps this is the way the person could get out of the vehicle. You see law enforcement there kind of repositioning to perhaps have some better commands and visuals. Okay, person's out. A person is out. Hands up.
They're following police orders, so they back up. They have their hands in the air. Eventually, they will be told to lie down onto the asphalt so that they can be cuffed. But we can barely see, but it seems as if they are continuing to back up towards officers. Now, the next question is whether that is indeed the driver and nobody else is in the truck, or if there is somebody else there that they have to concern themselves with. But in the meantime, one person will be in custody shortly.
Out of the passenger side of the car.
Out of the passenger driver's side. But remember when the police car pushed the truck onto the sidewalk, it was on the driver's side. So that could have damaged the car in such a way that you can't get out of the driver's side.
Yeah, possibly.
Right. It came out the passenger side. It doesn't appear that anyone else is exiting. It's hard to see with the visibility.
Yeah, here's a replay of what happened when the truck was stopped by traffic. Police came in and then pushed it onto the sidewalk, but that did allow the truck to go on its way a little longer before the pursuit came to a halt.
And as we're watching the pit maneuver that did end the pursuit, that's it right there on the right side of your screen. It first hit one wall there, then careened into the second wall. And you're right, Susan, maybe the front door, the driver's side door, was not able to be opened, and they were able to communicate somehow and indicate the driver was going to come out the passenger side. But again, Dennis, looking at this positioning here, can you tell if there's anybody else in the vehicle? Police have not given the all clear.
They will search that vehicle. They'll search the the driver's side, the passenger side. They'll look into that. There's the front seat, the rear seat. I'm surprised they haven't approached that yet. They do have him in custody. They will definitely search that car and see if they obviously want to find the gun if there is in fact a gun. But it doesn't appear that anyone else is inside that car. But they'll approach that to make sure that there's nothing in there. And this gun is what the big question is. And he came out, his hands obviously would be handcuffed, so is there a gun still in the car?
Well, they have the dog right there. I'm surprised they haven't sent the dog in to take a look.
Well, the dog will search for bodies, but they can see if there's any other bodies, any other individuals in there. But he came out, it looks like he came out the rear door on the passenger side.
Yeah,
because that's one of those four-door pickup trucks.
Where there's like a back seat, like sometimes a bench seat.
I'm really watching the back officers there on the right. Guns are still drawn. They're still taking precaution there for their own safety. And you still see the officers there on the left. They're also, they've shielded themselves too. So it does make me wonder if there's not somebody else still inside that vehicle. Now you have that one front police car pressed up against the truck and an officer standing by there. Perhaps that person has the best visual. But Dennis, this posturing makes me think there might be somebody still in that vehicle.
Well, I would say it's a possibility. I mean, they will clear the car, absolutely. I don't know why they haven't done it. They got him in custody. He's there in custody. I'm sure he's got handcuffs by now. They're questioning him, but you've got sufficient officers there to approach that and find out and make sure the car is clear. I'm surprised they waited this time.
Maybe there's somebody in there.
If that's the case, that person would be wise to exit the vehicle. But it's hard with the sight that we have, the darkness.
Yeah.
We don't seem to have that illumination on that cab to really tell.
And of course, because the original want was assault with a deadly weapon, if there is another person in that truck, then the concern would be that person would have access to a gun or some kind of a weapon.
Exactly. But I think during the pursuit, we didn't see more than one individual in the truck during that pursuit. So I'd be surprised.
You have better eyes than I then, Dennis, because I couldn't figure that out.
Well, also, if they have the person in custody, perhaps they're getting information. Again, they have not approached this vehicle. And so I'm still wondering if there's somebody in the vehicle. Obviously, they've got concern. Or are they making the move now? Look here. They have that face shield, that shield. Is that right?
Yes. Ballistic. They have the ballistic shield.
Uh-huh.
So that means there may be somebody else in there, that they have not approached it, and that means there may be somebody else in there.
They got some kind of information that suggests that that's the situation.
They can come up with the ballistic shield. That'll be the lead officer. There'll be officers accompany that officer on the approach, and that's what they believe. There may be someone that's hiding on the floor. That vehicle obviously hasn't been searched, so they're still standing by, and a supervisor will say, okay, mount that forward and check it out and make sure. I mean, they're not going to leave it without checking.
Yeah, Dennis, or perhaps somebody is disabled or unable to get out of the vehicle or hurt in some fashion. You had one person exit the vehicle. They probably have been able to provide some kind of information, like somebody's inside, but they can't get out, or they hit their head, or whatever reason.
There were two impacts.
They're moving in now. They're moving in.
Oh, watch this. And Dennis, that sort of explains why they didn't send in the dog. So instead, they have the officers with the ballistic shield. They've got that high-powered light there, so they'll check it out to see whether or not there is indeed somebody else in there.
Well, the lead officer will have the ballistic shield. As we see it, they're approaching, and they're going to come up on that car. They got the weapons drawn. The officer with the ballistic shield will be the lead. They're going to look inside with the flashlights and determine if anyone, and if not, then they'll turn around, and it's going to end up being suspect in custody and car requesting tow.
Oh, they pulled someone out? Does it look like they have somebody?
No, but it does look like there's a couple of doors open now.
I mean, they're dealing with something there.
Someone could have been hiding. Someone could have been hiding under the seat, on the floorboard.
I don't know. The posture doesn't suggest that to me.
Is there someone? I can't see from the picture. It's not that clear.
No,
they all
I could be
backing
wrong on
off.
that. So it looks like
But they're walking.
Wait, they're walking back and
back.
forth. It's
So
like, what's going on?
they either have someone or not. I don't think anyone came out.
But are they dealing with something there on the ground? Did they pull somebody out onto the ground there?
Yeah, because they all
That
standing
they're kind of
around.
hovering around the ground. I'm just wondering.
You mean on
Could be
the
wrong.
driver's side of the truck?
Nah, they looking.
They,
don't seem
most
like
of them
it.
walked away.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
Yeah,
they're
I don't
looking,
think
maybe
so.
they're looking for the gun.
I don't see nothing.
Yeah.
It is sort of
Yeah, if there
interesting. We
was-
can, for the first time, see a better view inside
Yeah,
the
they
cab
gone.
a
They
little
gone
bit
now.
because the door's now open and you can see the flashlight going through the cab of
This guy
this
was
white
blowing past
Silverado.
red lights.
But you see
like
how
a
there's
motherfucker.
officers there. They keep going to the ground. And I'm just wondering, I could very well be wrong. Did they pull
I don't-
somebody out
I don't-
who's unconscious
think
or
so.
needing medical aid?
I just
It's
feel
hard to
like
tell.
the posture of these officers suggests otherwise, or the posture suggests that if it is somebody that got pulled out and are disabled somehow, that has allowed the officers to feel more comfortable
I think they
about
just looking for whatever.
changing their stance.
Right.
The guns are back,
Right.
put away.
All right, y'all.
But bottom line is that